Okay, let's take a look at the stock market. Are we still crashing today? Let's start with the VIX. VIX is an important indicator. It is the volatility index of the S&P 500. So this is an index. This is a computed value that looks at the premiums on the options to try to understand how people are fearful about the stock market. And it has been going super high, super fast, very recently. So now today we are down a little bit. So VIX is down 1086. We closed at 2770. As you see right here, we opened right here yesterday. We went super high, came back down. Today we opened right here, came down as low as this point right here and came back up. So basically, I would call it a going sideways. It is not as high as it went yesterday, but it still did not go as low as we were yesterday. So, this is kind of a sideways day. Let's see how it has impacted the stock market today. So Tesla is up $1.76. So Tesla had been into a downward channel that started July 11, and we have been following this line ever since. This is a downward channel, a downward resistance. And with the big move in the VIX yesterday, we came even outside of this bearish channel. This is bearish. This is going down. We came outside of it. And now we closed back inside. So we are recuperating a little bit. As I was saying yesterday, when we have a super big move in the stock market in one direction, we have contrarians that are going to take the opposite position. So this is what is happening. Yesterday, we had quite a lot of people that took the opposite position because if we go on the 1 hour chart, we opened quite low. We had closed on Friday at 207 and we opened yesterday, Monday at 185. So this was a big move down. So the contrarians came back in, pushed it up, and now it's basically zigzagging on the 1 hour chart between 194.35. Remember that number, 194.35, and a little bit higher than 255. We are at 203.15, 203. Let's call it 203. So this is where we are. We are into a congestion zone. We are going sideways between these two numbers. We have been doing that for 2 days, yesterday and today. There's no stochastic. We can already see that we have some stabilization right there. We have some stabilization. Once we are going to break 203.15 on the 1 hour chart, then this is going to tell us that there's a buy impulse from the buyers if we have stochastic over 60 and everything. So this is going to be a positive sign. If we close lower than 194.35, this is going to be a bearish sign. Right now, we cannot really say that this move is bullish or bearish because we are into a congestion zone itself. And the congestion zone is basically an equilibrium between the buyers and sellers. So no buy signal yet and no sell signals yet. Let's take a look at the bonds a little bit. Bonds are climbing back up. The Nikkei index, the Nikkei index fell through like crazy. And today, basically, it's just going sideways. It tried to go higher, was pushed back down. So, things are not recovering for sure. This is just going sideways. US dollar against the Japanese yen, we are pretty much stable. So the yen is not recuperating all. This is a little bit of a concern. US dollar also pretty much sideways. We cannot say that things are over. Things are just stable for now. Let's take a look at the stock indices. Dow Jones, a little bit of a pullback up, but not that much. We tried to go higher and closed higher than this horizontal resistance right here. 39,295. Could not close above. We came back below. SPX, we are up 1%. It's definitely not the time to buy on the daily chart because we don't have stochastic over 60 and a bunch of stuff. On the 1 hour chart, we still don't have stochastic over 60. If you want to play on the 1 hour chart on a possible temporary move up, it needs to break this. It needs to break where it was at the lowest last Friday. And you see how this is perfectly aligned with where we stopped today. The red there at 230, this is where we stopped and came back down. It was possible to buy when we touched support with some risk, but in terms of momentum, we need to break 53.01 in order to see some move up. NASDAQ stochastic absolutely abysmal on the daily charts, not the time to buy. On the 1 hour chart, the same concept. If it goes above 18,336, then this is going to be a buy. But we would still need to clear this downward resistance before. We need to clear this, then we need to clear this. And we need to have stochastic over 60. So it's not the time to get back in. Let's take a look at our important stocks. So Apple, after the big move down, we are stabilizing a bit above 197.46. It's not the time to buy yet. We don't have stochastic over 60. Amazon up 0.77%, no stochastic. This is going to take a while before we get buy signals on the daily chart. It's going to take a while. But if we start breaking 167, then, we can start thinking about it. AMD, just going sideways, not the time to buy. Adobe bouncing on 501 right here. So the buyers that were right here are still there. They are still there. So this seems to not want to go lower. So that's an interesting sign. For me to buy it, I would need to see it above 527.56 and with a good stochastic. ARM bouncing a little bit, 2.66% up. Not the time to buy. Google just going sideways. It's Microsoft, 1% bounce. But, this is not a good candle like this. We have a long wick at the top, so we were squished down. We need to be patient. Meta back above 479.69. This one is rebounding with force, up 3.8% today. But to me, this is still noise. This is still noise. This is where we are right now. So it has been doing this since February. So we are stuck between 452 and 523. NVIDIA, a little bit of a bounce too. Palantir earnings were pretty good, huh? Earnings were 11% positive surprise in earnings, 3% positive surprise in revenue. So, it was up 10% today. So that's pretty good. Up 10%. So we had lost 25.52 and we gained it back. So within a couple of days, we did a little bit of a zigzag like this. So you can consider being above 25.52 a buy signal because we were stuck between 20.45 and 25.52. And when we broke 25.52, this was a buy signal. That did not last long in June. It came back down right away. But in July, it lasted a couple of weeks, but then caved into 29.31 before what happened yesterday. So right now, we still have people buying back in above 25.52. So you can consider this a buy signal. SMCI, this is still in free fall, basically, even though we are up 1% today. SoFi bouncing pretty good on 615. I won't buy yet. Let's take a look at our EV stocks. Going sideways, still going down for BYD. Lucid in terms of earnings, 6% down, 6% negative surprise and 5% positive surprise in revenue. So is this going to be having an impact? It tried to go higher than 336, but it could not. So, the buyers that were at 336 right here, we had the buyers there are no longer there. The buyers are back at 275 for now. And the sellers are still at 336. Neo Battery Material just going sideways. Neo sideways. Novonix 6% up, this looks good. 6% is fantastic. But with numbers that are this low, 6% does not mean much. And post-market, we are down by 8%. Expand going sideways. Rivian back above 14.59. Earnings coming out tonight. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Nouveau Monde Graphite, a little bit of a move up by 5%. Oh boy. So Nikola Mining, I don't know what happened. We were maintaining ourselves above 34 cents, and now we are cratering. Look at this, closed at 31 cents. Look at this big red candle. We started to see, on July 30th that stochastic was lower than 60. But it sometimes happened that you have stochastic lower than 60 and the stock still holds support. So, this was not a sell per se. It was a concern, but it was not a sell. Right now, well, it has already fell down. So it's a little bit less interesting to sell because the move is already gone. So if it's a fluke, it should come back. If it does not come back, I'm going to get out. Bitcoin bouncing on 52,000. XRP bouncing just above 49 cents. Physical gold going sideways and should be going down to 18 bucks. And silver, not very strong. We could be reaching 9 bucks very easily. So yeah, Tesla is not recovering too much. It's still very, very shy, as we should be after the big move that we saw recently. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing. If you like what I do, you can become a YouTube member. Click on my TradingView affiliate link. I'm going to wish you a great evening. We are going to talk tomorrow, and I'm going to tell you à la prochaine.